Welcome, dear students. Today we have Unit 11, Things That Change the World. The most important things in Unit 11 are, in grammar, passive voice, how to formulate passive voice. And in vocabulary we will have verbs and nouns that go together. This also belongs to the subject of, to the topic of collocation. In everyday English, we will learn about notices, which means signs in American English, notices in Baghdad in British English, which equals signs, road signs, map signs in American English. Let's begin. As a starter in your book, 1. Make true sentences from the chart. What is made and grown in your country? In this chart you see have columns, 4 columns, nouns, rice, Ferraris, Nikon cameras, coffee, pineapples. In the second we have verb, is or are, and a completion, also a verb, made in, grown in. In the fourth column we predict that it's an object, also a noun, Japan, Hawaii, Brazil, Italy, China. Here we form an active sentence as we learn. An active sentence consists of subject, verb, object. As you can see, we can, from the first column, we write rice, arroz. Rice is grown in, it's not made, grown in where? In Japan and China. See the answers? When we see this form of the sentence, it's not really an active sentence. It does not mention true subject, doer. يعني لما نشوف هاي الجملة نقول إحنا هي يعني subject و verb وأكو object أو ماكو complement، لكن من باوع يعني هنا ماكو شخص اللي قام بفعل زراعة الرز. So this is not a real active sentence. This is what a passive sentence looks like. Second, Ferraris, of course the cars, are made in Italy. Nikon cameras also are made in Japan. Coffee, كمحصول, is grown in Brazil. Pineapples, countable now, are grown in Hawaii. Now, let's watch a short video about how to formulate the passive voice in a simple way.
Active versus passive. An active sentence has a structure like this: subject plus verb plus object. Example, Sarah eats an apple. Sometimes the verb doesn't need an object, like Sarah runs. Here the structure is just subject plus verb. But if you have an object, you can formulate your sentence in another form, which is called the passive. For example, instead of Sarah eats an apple, I can say an apple is eaten by Sarah. The meaning is more or less the same, but the structure is different. The first sentence is called an active sentence. Sarah eats an apple. The second sentence is called the passive sentence. An apple is eaten by Sarah. As you know, the structure for the active sentence is subject plus verb plus object. Sarah is the subject, eats is the verb, and an apple is the object. In order to make a passive sentence, we follow these steps. First, we bring the object to the beginning of the sentence. So an apple comes to the beginning of the sentence. Second, we add a form of to be that is relevant to the tense of the active sentence. So here, the tense is present simple. So the form of to be in that tense is. So far we have an apple is. Third, we add the past participle of the verb. So the past participle, or the third form of the verb eat, is eaten. Eat, ate, eaten. So we have an apple is eaten. Fourth, we add by, followed by the person or thing that does the action, that is the subject of the active sentence. In this sentence, the person who does the action of eating is Sarah. So we have an apple is eaten by Sarah. And this is our passive sentence. You should know that the last step in which we add by Sarah is optional, because you usually use a passive sentence when the person or thing that does the action is not very important for you. So you have the option of just saying an apple is eaten, and you don't have to mention by Sarah if you don't want to. That's it. Now you know what a passive sentence is and how to make one from an active sentence.
Now, we've seen the video and you've learned how to form a passive sentence from the active sentence. Now, let's come to the book. 11.1, the passive. The form، الطريقة اللي يكون بيها الباسيف فويس هي حسب الفاعل اللي عندي اللي هو أصلا object أو مفعول الجملة الأكتف. أما أخلي am is are مثل ما حنشوف بالتمرينات، أو was were بالpast، have أو has been past participle، أو بالfuture will زائد الpast participle. Now, the past participle of regular verbs ends in ed. There are many common irregular verbs. See the list on page 143. هذا أكو appendix اللي هي أنزل لكم إياها على الماتيريال، البوك ماتيريال at 100 class. عندنا appendix 1 اللي هو تصريف الأفعال present past participle اللي هي irregular verb، لأنه irregular verb هو مثل play played played. past والpast participle هو تنتهي بإيدي، لكن irregular verbs like go went gone okay eat ate eaten، هذه الأفعال irregular التصريف مالتها موجودة بهذا الأبندكس، هذا الملحق ننزله بالبوك material. Now, for the present, to form present positive and negative sentences, English is spoken all over the world. الأكتف مالتها كانت هي مثلا نقول people speak English all over the world. من أحولها passive أحذف الفاعل الدور مالت الجملة الأكتف، أجيب الأوبجكت بالبداية اللي هو الإنجليش لأنه present الجملة، فإز بعدها speak الpast participle هو speak spoke spoken، وأكمل الجملة all over the world، وهكذا بالنسبة لبقية الجمل. Now، وأيضا بالنفي يكون النفي للإز أو الآر أو was أو were. okay will not. Coffee isn't grown in England. okay now, for the present perfect with positive and negative also, I have been robbed. okay الأكتف مالتي هي of course a thief have robbed me. okay من يتحول للباسيف أجيب الآي بالبداية، have لأنه I okay has مع he she it okay have been past participle مع robbed. وأيضا النفي مثل ما قلنا يكون لل have they haven't been invited to the party. Now, The passive voice structure in the present. The passive voice is where the subject receives the action of the verb. It's more common in formal writing. هنا نلاحظ بهذا الجدول the present simple مثل ما قلنا object زائد am أو is أو are زائد past participle زائد subject مال الجملة الأكتف مسبوق by. The bread is eaten by the girl. The bread. لاحظ الألوان. الأخضر هو الأوبجكت، الأصفر هو الauxiliary verb، الeaten هو past participle بالأحمر، والأزرق by subject. Present perfect also formula object plus have أو has been أو has been حسب الفاعل زائد past participle زائد subject. The bread has been eaten by the girl. لاحظ هنا الأكتف الجملة الأكتف the horses chase the man. لاحظ السهم the man الأوبجكت يجي بالبداية، بعدين بما أنه chase الفعل بالpresent simple خليه is. The man is وراها past participle ما chased by the subject the horses. The man is chased by the horses. Now in the past كنا نخلي أما was أو were حسب الفاعل. My car was steal stole stolen. My car was stolen last night. The animals were frightened by a loud noise. The thieves weren't seen by anyone. النفي يكون قلنا للوصف were. Now passive voice structure in the past simple or object and we said أما was aware حسب الobject الفاعل هنا مال جملة passive participle past participle زائد subject مسبوق by. The bread was eaten by the girl. The man burnt the dinner. Burnt هو ماضي burn يحرق. So the dinner بما أنه ماضي بسيط dinner هو مفرد خلي was. The dinner was burnt by the man. Okay. Now we come to will. صيغة الفيوتشر. 10,000 cars will be produced. 10,000 cars will be produced next year. The cars won't be sold in the UK. Will be هي صيغة ثابتة سواء كان الفاعل مفرد أو جمع in the future. بعد يجي past participle. لاحظ إنه في يكون للwill. will لما ننفيها تحول كتابتها إلى won't. Okay. كذلك بالنسبة للquestion with short answers. Now we come to the passive voice structure in the future. Future simple object زائد صيغة will be قلنا ثابتة زائد past participle زائد subject للجملة الأكتف. The bread will be eaten by the girl. The wolves will eat the remains. The remains صيغة ثابتة will be past participle eaten by subject the wolves. The remains will be eaten by the wolves. Now, why do we use a passive voice? The object of an active verb becomes the subject of the passive verb. Notice the use of by in the passive sentence. Active. Shakespeare wrote Hamlet, المسرحية. So Hamlet is the object. We take Hamlet, the object, and put it at the beginning of the passive sentence. So it becomes the subject of the passive sentence. Was, because the verb is in the past simple, wrote, was. Then the past participle of write, wrote, written by Shakespeare. Hamlet was written by Shakespeare. 2. The passive is not another way of expressing the same sentence in the active. No. We choose the active or the passive depending on what we are more interested in. يعني على الأهمية للتوكيد. أنا على شنو دا أريد أكد شنو المهم اللي عندي أذكره. إذا كان المهم عندي الأوبجكت Hamlet was written in 1600 أو 1600. We are more interested in Hamlet. فالمهم المعلومة عن الأوبجكت. بينما من أقول Shakespeare wrote comedies, histories and tragedies, we are more interested in Shakespeare, مهتمون بالdoer of the verb. المعلومة تكون أريدها عن الفاعل ولهذا أذكرها تكون من الأكتف. أوكي، نفس الحالة عندنا بالعربية. أما أقول ذهب علي إلى المدرسة، علي ذهب إلى المدرسة، أو ضرب المعلم التلميذ. من أريد أقول الباسف ضرب التلميذ، إذن المهم هو مو من قام بفعل الضرب، وإنما فعل الضرب بحد ذاته، إنه التلميذ انضرب. Okay? Now, the rules for tense usage in the passive are the same as in the active. Present simple to express habit, my car is received service regularly. Past simple to express a finished action in the past, فعل منتهي أو بالزمن الماضي. America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. Present perfect to express an action which began in the past and continues in the present. The present perfect التام المضارع التام لحدث بدأ بزمن الماضي ومستمر إلى حد هذا الزمن. Diet Cola has been made since 1982 وإلى حد هذا الوقت يصنعون الدايت كولا. The passive infinitive صيغة to be plus past participle is used after modal auxiliary verbs and other verbs which are followed by an infinitive. مثال driving should be banned in city centers. فإحنا هنا قلنا should would can could هذه must ought هذه كلها auxiliary verbs. إذا إجا بعدها الفعل verb to be بعدها ال past participle. أوكي، هاي الصيغة هي صيغة ال passive voice. ال auxiliary verb be plus past participle. وإذا إجا going to the house is going to أيضا be زائد past participle في حالة ال passive voice. أوكي، the house is going to be knocked down. Some verbs, for example, give, send, show, have two objects. I give him a book. أعطيته كتابا. أفعال متعدية إلى مفعولين. A person and a thing. Two objects, a person and a thing usually. She gave me a book for my birthday. فالمفعول به الأول هو me. أعطتني. شعطتني كتابا. إذن أكو مفعولين أنا والكتاب. In the passive, we often make the person the subject, not the thing. عادة نخلي ال subject مع ال passive voice sentence هي ال person أو المفعول به الأول. I was given a book for my birthday. Okay? She was sent the information by post. You will be shown where to sit. So the active sentence of this first example, I was given a book for my birthday, means someone gave me a book for my birthday. She was sent the information by the post. The post sent her the information. Her the information. I will show you where to sit. You where to sit هو المفعول. You will be shown where to sit. Now, you must remember to swap the position of the subject and the object. It's the opposite of the active voice. So, مثل ما شفنا كل الجملة السابقة. The dog is playing with the toy. The toy هي تصير subject مع passive. Okay. والسبجكت مع الباسيف subject بالactive يجي بالpassive يأتي بعد ال by. Okay. The dog is playing with the toy. The toy is being played with by the dog. Now, the word by is used before the subject. هذه أيضا قلناها بالactive voice. مثلا هنا بالpresent he plays the violin. Okay. In the passive voice the violin is played by him. أنا أقدر أوقف لي هنا the violin is played. Okay. لكن من عندي موجود ال subject مع ال active sentence أقدر أخلي by وأخلي بعده ال subject لكن انتبه انه يتحول من ضمير فاعل he الى ضمير مفعول به him. هذه ملاحظة. She ate an apple. An apple was eaten by her. She صارت her. okay. بينما بالأسماء يبقى الموضوع نفسه. Tony is going to write a letter. A letter is going to be written by Tony, نفس الاسم. والضمائر هنا التراكيب. Everyone must wear black shoes. Black shoes must be worn by everyone. Okay, تبقى هاي التراكيب. بس الضمائر ينتبه واحد انه يبدلها. Now, the auxiliary verbs used in the passive voice change for each tense. Study this table and learn it. Okay, بالpresent tense احنا قلنا انه الاوكسيلري المستخدمة هي am ويا I, is ويا he she it, are ويا you we they. Okay, present perfect have been مع I, you, we, they, has been مع he she it. Past perfect was مع I, he, she, it مع you, we, they, were. بالfuture simple will be صيغة ثابتة مع جميع ضمائر الفاعل. Passive voice sentence using a modal verb must be followed by infinitive be. أيضا هاي بدنا هالملاحظة إنه من يجيني الauxiliary verb جملة الباسيف لازم أخلي بعد be وبعد past participle. The game might be won by the underdogs. The underdogs هو the name of a team. A protective hat must be worn. The exact details can't be disclosed. The matter shouldn't be discussed by anyone. إذا سواء كان مثبت أو منفي الauxiliary verb من يجيني بالجملة الباسيف لازم تأتي بعد صيغة الفعل be بعد يأتي past participle. Now, we come to an important text in pages 86 and 87 in your book. A photograph that changed the world. تلاحظون هنا صورة أكيد عالم وهنا صورة أشعة إيد لعبهم هاي صورة بالأشعة السينية. So أكيد التكست يتحدث عن الأشعة السينية. This is the first X-ray photograph, this one in the green shadow. Okay, it was taken by a German scientist, Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, in 1896. It's his wife's hand. The bones in her hand and also her wedding ring are clearly seen in the photo. Okay. X-rays were discovered by accident while Röntgen was experimenting with electricity. Soon after, he built the first X-ray machine. Immediately, hospital operations were made much safer. For the first time, doctors could see inside people's bodies before they cut them open. In 1901, Röntgen was awarded the very first Nobel Prize in physics. His invention is still used every day by doctors and dentists and is called the window into the human body. Since the introduction of computer imaging in the 1970s, X-ray machines have been used for other things too. At airports, many criminals have been caught with illegal items in their luggage. Also, lost works of art have been discovered underneath other paintings. In factories, many faults in new products are found every day. Using X-rays, it is certain that X-rays will be used for a long time in the future. So the text talks about the invention of the X-ray machines and the discovery of X-rays. لاحظ discovery of X-rays لكن invention of X-ray machine. هنحكي على الفرق بين discovery والinvention. On page 86 السؤال مهم أيضا عن القطعة. Read the story of X-rays on page 87. Are these sentences true or false? طبعا هنا محلولة الجملة عندكم معلومات من التكست السابق اللي قرأناه. X-rays were discovered by Wilhelm Röntgen in 1986. طبعا التاريخ خطأ. The first X-ray photograph was taken by Röntgen's wife. No, to Röntgen's wife by Röntgen. The first X-ray machine was also invented by Röntgen. That is true. It is called the window into the human body. That is also true. X-rays are only used in medicine. لا طبعا تستخدم في العديد من المجالات in airports, factories, and in discovering lost arts, work arts. Now, on page 87 we also have another exercise. Complete the sentences. عندنا يعني عمودين جدول بعمودين جملة active okay ومقابلها جملة passive لكن تصريف الفعل غير موجود. أول جملة هي passive نرجع بالactive تصريف الفعل أيضا غير موجود. هنا حل هذه الجمل. Let's take the first two sentences. They make Rolls-Royce cars in Britain. They make Rolls-Royce cars in Britain. So الجملة هي بالpresent active بالpresent simple. فمن أجي أحولها للpassive أخذ المفعول به اللي هو Rolls-Royce cars. ماذا بها؟ جمع هو present إذن أخلي are. بعدها أخلي past participle مال الفعل make made so are made. Rolls-Royce cars are made in Britain. ماشي. Number 2 هنا over 5 million people dash the Eiffel Tower every year. So the Eiffel Tower is visited by over 5 million people every year. So is visited إذن معناتها الجملة هنا بالpresent والفعل هو visit. Okay. لأنه over 5 million people فvisit. لاحظ الحال visit. Okay. وهكذا بالنسبة لبقية الجمل. Now we come to an important text in its information and as an exercise on passive voice. The history of paper. Okay. What is paper made of? Who invented it? Read the history of paper and check your ideas. Put the verbs in the brackets in the correct tense, active or passive. لاحظ هنا أنا عندي نص موجودة فراغات from 1 to 10. هنا أنا عندي next slide حلينا النص الأفعال عن طريق التيب سكريبت اللي حنسمعه هسه. Let's listen.
Unit 11. Tape script 11.1.
Today, paper is used for hundreds of everyday things. Books and newspapers, of course, but also money, stamps, cups, bags, and even some clothes. Long ago, before paper, people wrote on animal skins, bones, and stones. Then, in 2700 BC, the Egyptians started to make papyrus, which was similar to paper. But the first real paper was invented in AD 105 by a Chinese government official, Cai Lun. It was made from a mixture of plants and cloth. The Chinese kept their invention secret for centuries. Finally, in the 10th century, paper was brought to Europe by the Arabs. The first European paper mill was built in Spain in 1150. Since the 18th century, most paper has been made out of wood because it is much stronger than cloth. Nowadays, each person uses about 300 kilograms of paper every year. That's a lot of paper.
So, interesting information about paper. We have on the same page questions and answers. Match the question words and answers. عندي chart بالعمود الأول موجودة question words. Okay. When, where, who, how long, how much. لاحظ هنا أنا عندي x2 أو في by 2 معناته هنا أنا عندي مرتين متكرر الوين. The same for where. متكرر مرتين أكو جوابين هنا إله. لاحظ هذا السؤال مهم إنه شنو يعرف الطالب إنه هل أنت تعرف الغاية من استعمال كل أداة. يعني when تستخدم للسؤال عن الزمن. So هنا تلاحظ الانسرز when مرتين لأنه هو مكتوب فيه 2. أوكي. هاي معناها في 2 حسب الرقم الموجود معناته يتكرر هذا الاسم اللي قبله أو الأداة. So when من اللي موجود عندي الخيارات اللي موجودة بالأجوبة ألاحظ أنه المفروض أني أخذ شيء المتعلق بالزمن. فاللي متعلق بالزمن هو when in AD 105 تاريخ و in the 10th century. Okay. where للسؤال عن المكان أو location سواء دولة سواء شارع سواء محل بيت اسم مطعم. اوكي. ف place or location. ال place or location اللي موجودة هي in Spain و in China. اوكي. who by who للسؤال عن the subject or the doer. ف هنا من ضمن اللي موجود عندي بعد ما نقص عندي in AD و in Spain و in China وإن بقى عندي 1 2 3 3 خيارات. هو قلنا للسؤال عن العاقل أو الفاعل أو اسم الشخص فتسايلون، يعني بدنا نحكي احنا على القطعة اللي قرأناها عن the history of paper. فتسايلون the Chinese official who invented paper. how long ممكن تأتي للسؤال عن how long لمسافة أو how long للمدة الزمنية، كم المدة الزمنية. ألاحظ أن أنا ما عندي شيء متعلق بالمسافة، اللي عندي هو مدة زمنية. شلون؟ since the 18th century، منذ القرن الثامن عشر. أوكي، فإذا هذا هو الجواب الصحيح. how much for uncountable، أوكي، للكمية. لو تتذكرون هسه من قرأنا النص قلنا إنه each person uses over 300 kilograms in his about 300 kilograms in his life. احنا مدى نقول انه ورقة كعدد how many. no. ليش قال how much؟ لأنه هو دا يحكي على كمية ورق، كمية ورق مو أعداد ورق. اوكي، ولهذا سأل how much about 300 kilos. اوكي، هذا السؤال مهم للسؤال عن أدوات الاستفهام. Now, we also have correct the sentences. أيضا هو exercise للتمرين على استخدام passive voice من خلال معلومات قطعة the history of paper. Okay, so number 1, paper is only used to make newspapers and books. No, it isn't. It is used to make hundreds of everyday things. لاحظ الحل هنا موجود بالأحمر عندكم لسهولة الدراسة. أوكي، حتى يكون سهل عندكم من تراجعون المادة. و let's listen to the tape script اللي هو بيه أصلا الحل.
Tape script 11.3. 1.
Paper is only used to make newspapers and books.
No, it isn't. It is used to make hundreds of everyday things.
2.
All clothes are made out of paper.
No, they aren't. Only some are made out of paper.
3.
Before paper, people wrote on trees.
No, they didn't. They wrote on animal skins, bones, and stones.
4.
Paper was invented by a Chinese scientist.
No, it wasn't. It was invented by a Chinese government official.
5.
The Chinese gave their invention to the world immediately. No, they didn't. They kept it secret for centuries.
6.
They made paper out of wood.
No, they didn't. They made it out of a mixture of plants and cloth.
7.
The first paper mill in Europe was built in France.
No, it wasn't. It was built in Spain.
8.
Paper has been made out of cloth since the 18th century.
No, it hasn't. It's been made out of wood.
As you heard, the solution of this exercise. Now, we come to another form of exercises on passive voice. لاحظ هنا underline the correct word or words in each sentence. اختار أو ضع خط تحت الاختيار الصحيح. I took the liberty and يعني خليت لكم تحت خط الاختيار الصحيح، وحددنا الجمل اللي هي active و passive. أي active اللي هي جملة 3 4 5، passive sentences اللي هي 1 2 6 7 on page 88. Where was or were these shoes made؟ أكيد طبعا لأن these shoes for where. I was given this watch by law from my uncle. أكيد لأن by my uncle, not from my uncle. Someone has stolen or has been stolen my bag. No, someone has stolen. هو اللي سرقني. Okay, not my bag has been stolen. The news agent sells. Oh, is sold stamps? No. The news agent sells هو يبيع. Okay. he sells. لكن الstamps are sold. okay. فالاختيار الصحيح هو sells. British policemen جمع don't carry لو aren't carried guns. of course نفي الفعل يكون don't بالمضارع. ف don't carry, they don't carry. okay. All the tea was drank or drunk by 9 o'clock. of course drunk لأنه جملة passive. was بعدها past participle. drunk هو past participle بينما drank هو past للفعل drink. فالاختيار الصحيح هو drunk. Have all the sandwiches eaten لو been eaten أكيد لأنه passive voice فهو been eaten ما تجي past participle وحدها خطأ. Have all the sandwiches been eaten. أيضا هذا التدريب على اختيار الفعل الصحيح للجمل الباسيف والactive تصريف الأفعال. Now we come to vocabulary and speaking. This is a very important exercise on page 89. Around each verb حول كل فعل. One noun does not go with it, does not collocate with it. فعل لا يتناسق أو لا يتناسب أو لا ينسجم معه. Which one? Of course it is salt. هنا تلاحظون الاسم المختلف خلينا in this oval shape بشكل بيضاوي. okay. So التعابير هي discover the truth. okay. discover cure, discover gold, discover DNA. لكن not discover aspirin. no. invented aspirin. We will come in the next slide to explain the difference between discover and invent. okay. Now make cars. make a discovery يكتشف. make a phone call يتصل. make 1,000 pounds. but not make homework. do homework. okay. يحل الواجب. lose weight, of course. lose the game. lose the way يتيه الطريق. lose money يخسر النقود. لكن not lose the bus إذا فاتت الحافلة. not الفعل الملائم مو lose. miss فاتته الحافلة. miss the bus. okay. Now carry an umbrella. carry passengers. the airplane carries passengers. carry a briefcase. carry a gun. but not carry a watch. الساعة نرتديها. so wear a watch. tell a story. يحكي قصة. tell a joke. يقول نكتة. tell a lie. يكذب. يقول كذبة. tell the truth. لكن not tell hello. you say hello. okay. so الفعل مع hello هو say. give a lift يوصله إلى مكان ما. give information. give advice ينصح. give a present يهدي هدية. لكن not give a complaint. احنا قلنا بالمثال السابقة الفعل مع complaint make a complaint يشتكي. okay. keep a promise. keep a diary. keep the peace يحافظ على السلام. keep a secret لكن not keep an idea. have an idea. I have an idea. miss the ball. okay. أخطأ الكرة. miss the family يشتاق إلى العائلة. miss the bus مثل ما قلنا هنا ويا lose يعني فاتته الحافلة. miss school سواء يشتاق إليها أو miss the school day بمعنى غاب عن المدرسة. لكن not miss the way مثل ما قلنا the way lose the way يتيه الطريق. okay. فهذه التعابير جدا مهمة. نأتي لشكل آخر من هذه التعابير. تمرين آخر للاستخدام مرتبط بهذا التمرين.
There are 8 nouns that do not go with the verbs in exercise 1. التمرين اللي هسه حليناه. Which verbs do they go with? احنا ايضا كتبنا مثل ما تلاحظون كتبنا كل اسم والفعل اللي يمشي معه. لاحظ do homework, miss the bus, wear a watch, lose the way, have an idea, make a complaint, say hello, invent aspirin. complete the sentences with the correct verbs. هذا أيضا يعني صيغة أخرى form آخر للي ممكن تجي السؤال عن the verbs and nouns that go together. 1. Aspirin was مثل ما قلنا invented. Okay. Number 2. I did my homework, do homework, التعبير. This is my father's watch. He wore it every day until he died. Wore الماضي مال wear يرتدي wear a watch. Say hello to your parents. Say hello, not tell hello. Are you the manager? We'd like to make a complaint, not give a complaint. Make a complaint يشتكي أو نرفع شكوى. I was late for work because I missed the bus. So التعبير هو miss the bus. I'm no good at reading maps, so we completely lost our way. Lose the way التعبير lose مع way. I have just had a really good idea. Have or had an idea. Okay. Now, on page 19, reading and speaking, a discovery and invention that changed the world. Number 1. Which of these are discoveries and which are inventions? The telephone, radium, penicillin, television, the internet, the atom, the electric light. هذه الأسماء السؤال هو أيضا هنا جدا مهم. Which are discoveries and which are inventions؟ أي منها اختراعات وأي منها اكتشافات. احنا لازم نعرف the difference الفرق بين ال discovery وال invention حتى أعرف أصنف هذه الأسماء. So a discovery is the act of detecting something new or something old that had been unknown. It is the process of learning something that was not known before or of finding someone or something that was missing or hidden. So, الدiscovery الاكتشاف عن شيء موجود. شيء جديد أو شيء قديم لكن شيء موجود بالطبيعة بالدنيا موجود لكن أنا ما كنت أشايفته أو ما أعرف عنه أو هو مخفي أو مفقود لكن هو موجود بالأساس. أوكي. بينما الانفنشن هو a new useful process أو machine أو improvement or anything that did not exist previously. جوها خط. That did not exist previously. لم يكن موجودا قبل اختراعه. And that is recognized as the product of some unique intuition or genius as distinguished from ordinary mechanical skill or craftsmanship. فالinvention الاختراع جاء نتيجة حدث فريد من نوعه أو عبقرية أو مهارة مميزة جدا بعيدا عن المهارات العادية. أوكي. وصار هذا الاختراع الشيء أو طريقة أو عملية أو ماكينة أو تطوير أيا كان هذا الاختراع ما كان موجود قبل. Okay, so نرجع للأسماء بعد عرفنا ال difference between discovery and invention. ال discovery هنا أكيد الراديوم عنصر الراديوم هو موجود بالطبيعة سابقا. So الراديوم هو discovery اكتشفوه بعدين بتطور العلم. penicillin أيضا مادة موجودة بالطبيعة بتطور العلم أيضا تم اكتشافها. Okay, the atom الذرة موجودة بالكون كليته في جميع ذرات الكون لكن ما كان اكو طريقة حتى نعرفها او نعرف مرتبطة بشنو او شلون نرسمها او نمثلها بعدين اكتشفوها. So all of these are discoveries. بينما الانفنشن the telephone هو invention. عندما اخترع جراهام بيل الكسندر جراهام بيل لم يكن موجودا قبلها ماكو تليفونات قبلها. television also ما كان موجود اكو تلفزيون قبل اختراع اول جهاز او اول شاشة نقل الصورة. the internet ما كان اكو انترنت الى ان وراء مدة من اختراع او فترة من اختراع العفو مدة وليس فترة مدة من اختراع الحواسيب الى ان جاء الانترنت. اوكي. the electric light المصابيح الكهربائية ما اخترعوها الا بعد يعني ما كانت موجودة، اخترعوها بعد ان اختراع الكهرباء. So all of these are inventions. Now, in your book on page 19, two important texts, the discovery of DNA and the invention of Google. لاحظ نانا the discovery of DNA اكتشاف ال DNA. لماذا قال discovery ولم يقل invention؟ لأنه ال DNA موجود في كالخريطة الجينية موجودة في كل الكائنات الحية. Did you know that a tiny piece of your hair gives us information about who you are related to, which career you could be successful in, any crimes you have committed, what illnesses you could get, how and when you could die? This is possible thanks to the information in DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid. Your hair and every cell in your body contains your own unique DNA. It can tell you a lot about your family, health, and personality. DNA was discovered by a German scientist, Friedrich Miescher, in 1869, but nobody realized its importance then. Other scientists thought that it was too simple to contain the map of how we are made. In 1953, a group of British scientists at Cambridge University finally discovered the structure of DNA and how it worked. They were given the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1962. Gradually, scientists learned to read more and more of information in DNA. In 1986, for the first time, DNA testing was used by the police. Some DNA is usually left by a criminal at the place where the crime was committed. This can be matched with DNA from a suspect. The test shows if the suspect is guilty. In 1990, the Human Genome Project was begun. Scientists wanted to make a map of the 3 billion chemical letters in human DNA. Over 1,000 scientists all over the world worked on the project, and it took 10 years. With this information, it is possible that a cure for many diseases will be found in the future. But it also brings with it many questions. Do we want to be able to choose what our babies will look like, or pick the best person for a job with DNA tests? هذا النص أيضا قلنا مهم للمعلومات اللي يحوي. Now, let's come to the invention of Google. مثلا لو كان عندك سؤال, how many common English words were invented by Shakespeare? How long did it take people to find the answer to this question 15 years ago? أكيد a lot of time. And now, you can Google it and find the answer immediately. Google is the most popular internet search engine in the world. It was invented by two students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They met in 1995 when they were both studying computer science at Stanford University, USA. They were also both fans of the science fiction TV program Star Trek, and they loved the spaceship computer. They dreamed of producing something that could also answer any question in seconds. Internet search engines at the time were slow and gave many websites that weren't useful. In January 1996, Page and Brin decided to make a better and faster search engine. They thought the results should be based on the popularity of each website. The most popular ones have the highest number of web links to other websites. Nobody would give them money for their project, so they used their credit cards and bought as much computer memory as possible. They also borrowed money from family and friends. Then, in 1998, they were given a check for $100,000, and they started their own company. Their first office was in a friend's garage. The company name Google comes from mathematics. A Google is a very high number, 1 followed by 100 zeros. The Google search engine was soon used by thousands of people worldwide because it was fast, easy, and accurate. By 2002, it was the biggest search engine on the internet. Now, more questions have been answered by Google than any other internet service, from sport to science and from music to medicine. Google hopes that in the future all the world's information
will be put on the internet so that everybody can find everything. Useful informations, nice informations. هاي النصوص أيضا نصوص مهمة. Now you are going to read text about DNA and Google. We already did. قرأنا هالنصوص. Which is a discovery and which is an invention. Of course قلنا ال DNA هو discovery لأن DNA كان موجود بعدين اكتشفوه، والجوجل هو invention search engine لأن اخترعوه من اللا شيء. Okay. All these words appear in the text. Look up any words you don't know in a dictionary. ابحث عن الكلمات اللي ما تعرف معناها بهذا الجدول بالقاموس. Which words do you think go with each text? حسب قراءتك للنص أي من هاي الكلمات تأتي مع النص الأول اللي هو نص ال DNA أو النص الآخر نص الجوجل. احنا هنا الحل ال DNA نص جتي مع هاي الكلمات اللي هي cure, sell, commit, a crime, disease, contain, structure. الجوجل اجتي مع الويب لينك company, search engine, result, dream, be related to and borrow. هكذا أيضا معلومات على النص. نأتي for the last topic in unit 11 notices. إن notices هي اللافتات أو علامات الطريق اللي موجودة في البلاد أو الأماكن اللي تتحدث اللغة الإنجليزية كلغة رسمية على النظام البريطاني. أي إنه هذه notices هي بالبريتش English، لكن in American English we say signs اللافتات أو العلامات. So when you first go to a foreign country it can be difficult to understand notices. Here are some typical English notices. لاحظ typical English notices يعني لافتات إنجليزية تقليدية. Match them with these places. So احنا نعطيك هو عدد من الأماكن 12 مكان. أوكي فإحنا حليناها هنا لسهولة القراءة حتى يكون الصورة مرجع لك وعليها المكان. Now صورة السهم الأزرق one way هو a road in a town. لاحظ a road in a town. بينما هنا هذه الصورة services 5 meter and 25 meter هو a motorway، بمعنى أنه هناك محل للصيانة على بعد 5 أمتار و25 متر. Now here هذه الصورة هي the underground قطار الأنفاق. اللي مسافر برا وشايف المترو أو قطار الأنفاق دائما بالمحطة موجودة خريطة أو محطات التوقف مثل ما هيجي Northern Line أو Platform 2 Southbound وأسماء محطات التوقف. أيضا داخل المترو موجودة هذه الخريطة تلاحظها حتى تعرف in which station to stop and step out يعني تخرج من المترو. Now here the fourth place an airport. هاي اللوحة السوداء والكتابة الصفراء على security notice for security reason please keep all your luggage with you all the time. هاي عادة نشوفها بالمطارات تكون لوحة الإعلانات مثلا طائرة تأخرت صار حدث مهم يريدون تنبيه أو تعليمات للمسافرين تنزل على هذه اللوحة. هنا عندنا the green please keep off the grass. أكيد هذا park ليس بمعنى جراج السيارات اللي عندنا متعارف كلمة بارك بالعامية نقول بارك رايح للبارك رايح يصف السيارة، لا البارك هي الحديقة العامة. اوكي سو اللي موجود عليها الساين او النوتس هي please keep off the grass ابتعد عن العشب. Now هنا in the middle feeding of animals prohibited penalty 50 pounds. هذه اللافتة أو العلامة دائما نشوفها وين؟ بالزو حديقة الحيوانات. This premium unleaded okay هاي هنا تدل وأيضا اللي ينتبه لتفاصيل الصورة هنا الأداة اللي تزود السيارات بالوقود. So this is a petrol station. Now the last picture in the middle please queue here. بمعنى شلون احنا نقول هنا هذا السرة قف الصف اوكي هنا فأكيد هنا this is either a mall أي مكان مثلا يبيع بس موجود بسرة أو لازم يوقفون صف واحد بعد الآخر يلا يشتري أو take his services. So this is a bank or a post office حسب الاختيارات. Now in the last line here هذه الصورة لباب يعني قبضة باب مسكة وهنا هذا المربع الرصاصي مكتوب engaged فهاي public toilet.
عادة من تكون البابليك تويلت مشغولة أو أكو شخص بيها، من تنسد هذه اليد تنزل للأسفل، هنا تصير هاي الكتابة engaged. من ترتفع للأعلى وماكو أحد جوا ومقفول الباب ينكتب vacant. هذه عادة موجودة بالمرافق العامة. هنا هذه اللوحة a railway station محطة قطار. شلون عرفنا؟ لاحظ time عندي وقت، البلات المنصة اللي حيوصلها القطار بلات 6، بانبوري جاي من هالمنطقة مثلا، calling at يعني هسه حتجي منو هذا القطار حيوصل لهاي الأماكن، فالمسافر اللي حاجز تيكت لهذه الأماكن يتحضر على المنصة السادسة. سلو، ريدينغ، أوكسفورد. أوكي، فهذه هي railway station. now هذا الأكثر common واللي معروف للأغلب، حتى اللي ما مسافر مثلا، اللي داخل القطر مثلا رايح اللي لا كردستان أو أي منطقة مثلا رايح ضيف الغير محافظة وحاجز الفندق، أكيد يشوف هذه الرجاء عدم الإزعاج. أوكي، الكارت هذا يتعلق على قبضة الباب a hotel. now وأيضا هذا الموست common out of order. عادة نلاحظ الدرينكينج ماشين والآلات اللي تبيع الحلويات والمشروبات الغازية بالمولات بالأسواق كذا موجود، إذا عاطلة تنحط عليها علامة أو ورقة مكتوب عليها عاطلة أو الجهاز عاطل. ف in Britain they write out of order, so this is a broken drinks machine. This was the last topic in today's lecture. I hope you all benefit from it, and God's willing, see you next week. Thank you for your attention.